us life, but there was no scarcity of food or shelter or cloth. Daily, we purchased 2.5 kilograms of milk. He did not like to purchase. He did not like to purchase retail, but would purchase a year's supply of coal for the cartload by the cartload. We were happy. Not that because we did not purchase a motor car, we were unhappy. My father used to say, God has 10 hands. If He wants to take away from you with 2 hands, how much can we protect? And when He wants to give to you with 10 hands, then with your 2 hands, how much can you take? Jai. My father would rise a little late, around 7 or 8. Then after taking bath, he would go purchasing. Then from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, he was engaged in puja. Then he would take his lunch and go to business. And in the business shop, he would take a little rest for 1 hour. He would come home from business at 10 o'clock at night. And then again, he would do puja. Actually, his real business was puja. For livelihood, he did some business. But puja was his main business. We would be sleeping and father would be doing arti, ding, ding, ding. We would hear the bell and wake up and see him bowing down before Krishna. Gaur Mohan wanted Vaishnava goals for his son. He wanted Abhay to become a servant of Radharani, to become a preacher of the Bhagavatam, and to learn the devotional art of playing mridanga. He regularly received sadhus in his home, and he would always ask them, please bless my son, so that Srimati Radharani may be pleased with him and grant him her blessings. Enjoying each other's company, father and son used to walk as far as 10 miles, saving the 5 paisa tram fare. On the beach, they used to see a yogi who for years had sat in one spot without moving. One day, the yogi's son was sitting there, and people had gathered around. The son was taking over his father's sitting place. Gaur Mohan gave the yogis a donation and asked their blessings for his son. When Abhay's mother said she wanted him to become a British lawyer when he grew up, that is, which meant he would have to go to London to study, one of Malik's uncles thought it was a good idea. But Gaur Mohan would not hear of it. If Abhay went to England, he would be influenced by European dress and manners. He will learn drinking and women hunting. Gaur Mohan objected, I do not want his money. From the beginning of Abhay's life, Gaur Mohan had introduced his plan. He had hired a professional mridanga player to teach Abhay the standard rhythms for accompanying kirtan. Rajani had been skeptical. What is the purpose of teaching such a young child to play the mridanga? It is not important. But Gaur Mohan had his dream of a son who would grow up singing bhajans, playing mridanga, and speaking on Srimad Bhagavatam. When Abhay sat to play the mridanga, even with his left and right arms extended as far as he could, his small hands would barely reach the drum heads at the opposite ends of the drum. With his right wrist, he would flick his hand just as his teacher instructed, and his fingers would make a high-pitched sound. te ne, tau. And then he would strike the left drum head with his open left hand. Boom, boom. With practice and age, he was gradually learning the basic rhythms, and Gaur Mohan looked on with pleasure. Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita ki Jai. Hopefully tomorrow the speaker would continue from page number 8, from the paragraph which is starting now. Do you understand? Hare Krishna. So, we continue with our discussion on the Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on the 4th canto, chapter number 4 and verse number 4. 4. Tamman vagachan drutavikramamam satim vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam tam anvagachan drutavikramam satim ekam tri netranucharaha sahasrashaha saparshadayaksha Maniman madadayaha puro vrushendra starasa gata vyathaha tam anvagachan drutavikramam satim ekam trinetranucharaha sahasrashaha saparshadayaksha Maniman madadayaha puro vrushendra starasa gata vyathaha taman vagachan dhruti vikramam satim ekam trinetranucharaha sahasrashaha saparshadayaksha maniman madadayaha puro vrushendra starasa gata vyathaha. Sorry, would you like to recite? I can't see. My handwriting is very bad. Okay. My apologies. Okay. Word to word synonyms, translations and purports by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Tam, her, that is Sati, anvagachan, followed, Druta vikramam, leaving rapidly, Satim, Sati, Ekam, alone, Trinetra, of Lord Shiva, who has 3 eyes, Anucharaha, the followers, Sahasrashaha, by thousands, Saparshada Yakshaha, accompanied by his personal associates and the Yakshas, Mani Mat Mad Adayaha, Maniman, Mother, etc. Puraha Vrusha Indraha, having the Nandi bull in front. Tarasa, swiftly. Gata Vyathaha, without fear. So her, that is Sati, followed, leaving rapidly Sati alone, of Lord Shiva, who has 3 eyes, the followers by thousands, accompanied by his personal associates and the yakshas, Maniman, Mother, etc., having the Nandi bull in front, swiftly, without fear. Translation. When they saw Sati leaving alone very rapidly, thousands of Lord Shiva's disciples, headed by Maniman and Mother, quickly followed her with his bull Nandi in front and accompanied by the yakshas. Purport. Sati was going very fast so that she might not be checked by her husband. But she was immediately followed by the many thousands of disciples of Lord Shiva, headed by the yakshas, Maniman and Mother. The word gatavyathaha used in this connection means without fear. Sati did not care that she was going alone. Therefore, she was almost fearless. The word anucharaha is also significant, for it indicates that Lord Shiva's disciples were always ready to sacrifice anything for Lord Shiva. All of them could understand the desire of Shiva, who did not want Sati to go alone. Anucharaha means those who immediately understand the purpose of their master. Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So as we do our prayers, we'll come to the discussion. Here, Mother Sati, Durga, wanted to go and visit her father for this big Brihaspati Yagna, which Daksha was performing. There's a very big instruction in this episode. Lord Shiva was not called for some extraneous egoistic reason which Daksha had. He was very puffed up. But interestingly, he was performing this sacrifice of Brihaspati Yagna, and before that Vajpaya Yagna, for the betterment of all living beings as a progenitor. But he was ignoring one of the most important living beings, Devadidev, Lord Shiva. So what is the use of this sacrifice? You see, this is hypocrisy. This is a very big hypocrisy. You see, if he, Daksha, had the good intention of performing this yagna for the betterment of all living beings, then he would have certainly invited Lord Shiva as the chief guest. But he did not invite Lord Shiva, so it is obvious that he was performing this sacrifice yagna as a progenitor just to show off his superiority. He is a leader. He was made the chief progenitor by Lord Brahma, not ordinary progenitor, chief progenitor. And as anyone who is a chief has to take and carry the burden of all his followers and living beings under him and above him. He is the example which everybody has to follow. He has to set this example. So any leader should set this example, not politically situated, but with honest means. As Srila Prabhupada explains, that any leader is a representative of Krishna. Leader being leader of some group of people, or leader of a family, leader of organization, but materialist also. And therefore, they have to carry the karma of their followers. So think twice before you become a leader. So this is the point to be understood. And for us as devotees, when we are performing devotional service, we have to be very careful and guarding against this hypocrisy that comes into us. If we do not understand and learn this, then we will miss this part of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is why Srimad Bhagavatam is very nectarian. You just have to open the book in a quiet place, in your home or wherever you want to be, temple, center, wherever, and read through this nectar. And Lord Shiva could not do anything. Although Daksha had made him his adversary, and Devadidev, Trinetram, Lord Shiva, Hara, such a big personality, could not check his progress of Daksha because Lord Brahma made him the chief progenitor. So he had to keep quiet and accept it. He did not fight it. He also accepted the will of Lord Krishna. What about us then? When we face any adversities, we have to learn from this Lord Shiva's attitude. Now, his good wife, Mother Sati, Goddess Durga, she wanted to go to the sacrifice. Lord Shiva said, don't do it. Don't do it, please. She called him with a big request, prayed to him, said, please take me. I will wear my father's given dresses. Telling you, not given me any dress, but no problem. Let me go. All other lower demigods have gone, my sisters have gone, mothers have gone, they'll welcome me. My father, I'm the pet of my father, he will welcome me. Please take me. Lord Shiva said, yes, most fair complexioned one. There is no doubt that you want to go. But please don't go. He said that I know the way, this is the point. An intelligent, extremely dhira personality like Lord Shiva can understand. As a chief progenitor, he is performing this yajna for the upliftment of all living beings, and he has ignored Lord Shiva, who has the biggest share in the yajna. He's saying, what is the purpose of this yajna? That means he is going to insult you because of his animosity with me. And I am innocent, he says. I have done nothing wrong. As you understand that Daksha, when he entered the arena, everybody stood up to give him obeisances. Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma did not stand up. And Lord Shiva explains to Mother Sati that actually one pays obeisances not to the person in the body, not to the soul in the body, but to the super soul in the body. And that I have already done because of my constant meditation on the super soul. There is Krishna in every body, including Daksha's body. So there was no need for me to externally stand up and pray and pay my obeisances to him. Because namaste or pranam, obeisances is given to the super soul in the body, not to the soul. Srila Prabhupada explains this. We discussed last Friday this point. So I have done nothing wrong. But because any person who is materially afflicted, who is too proud of himself, will not understand this intricacies of etiquettes. He would say, no, still Shiva had to repay respect to me because I am his father-in-law. This is how Daksha was thinking. And Lord Shiva were absolutely correct in understanding this point of Daksha, his behavior. That is the reason why he said, my dear chaste wife, you will be insulted because of me. And that insult you cannot bear. Please don't go. Srila Prabhupada says, Mother Sati still went. It is mentioned here. Prabhupada mentions this, that for a woman, the father and the husband both are very important. Very important. Father a little more. And she took refuge in the thought that because I am my father's pet daughter, the youngest, he will welcome me. When Lord Shiva still did not say, he said no. Ultimately then she cried with tears from her eyes to her cheeks. as if she wanted to blast her husband, Lord Shiva. She was shaking and afflicted by this sorrow, and even she did not follow the instructions of her uncommon husband. Of course, if a husband expects the wife to follow his instructions, then he has to be chaste and he has to be proper as well. Not that he is a demon and expects his wife to follow his demon tendencies. That is not correct. She is not a doormat. She is voluntarily the servant. And he is voluntarily her servant too. And then Sati, whom Lord Shiva had given half of his body. So that's why we call better half. You see, in English language we say, my better half. Meet my better half. That has come from the Vedic terminology. Better half. So Lord Shiva, then who gave his half body to Sati, she was breathing heavily because Lord Shiva was not allowing her to go. And because of anger and bereavement, she just went out of the house, went to her father. It is mentioned this less intelligent act was due to her being a weak woman. Even Mother Durga can be a weak woman as well, personality. What to speak of us? Nothing really. But then, when she left in a hurry because she did not want Lord Shiva to stop her again. She left in great hurry. Seeing this, another episode of intelligence, what we can understand from this is that the followers of Lord Shiva, Anucharaha, the followers, means those who understand, not just ordinary followers. A follower is that follower who understands the heart of his guru, of his master, of his father, of his leader. They are called proper followers. So they, in thousands, including yakshas, they understood the mood of Lord Shiva. They wanted Lord Shiva. They thought, yes, my dear Lord wants us to go and not allow his wife to go alone in this big ceremony, because anything can happen against her. Daksha, being egoistic person, is very volatile and anything can happen. So we must go, give her proper protection and take her very pompously, because she is the wife of our dear Lord and very powerful personality, Goddess Durga, great personality. And who are these followers? They were not some big brahmanas, big pandits. They were yakshas. Yakshas, those planetary portion, they live in planets which is misery, which is also people who are not very cultured. At the same time, they had great benediction of Lord Shiva. The Maninam, mother, they quickly arranged for the Nandi bull, the carrier of Lord Shiva, and then placed her very nicely. It will come now next week, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow it will be mentioned. And they placed her very nicely and took a huge procession. They took her to Daksha's place with gay, great, pompous festivities, chanting and dancing, glorifying Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati. They gave her beautiful lotus flower, made her sit nicely decorated on her throne and carried her. Because they did not want Mother Parvati, Sati, Mother Sati, wife of Lord Shiva, to just go alone, just like that ordinary woman. Because she is not ordinary. This is how a follower should think and assist his guru, his leader, his master. See, so many things we can understand from this, and our life can change. Now, Daksha being afflicted by this materialistic ego, and Lord Shiva understanding this point, this is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna. If we study Bhagavad Gita, then we can also follow in the footsteps of Lord Shiva and can see where some situation is progressing towards, whether we are needed in some place or not needed in that place, and then act accordingly. Where we are not needed, don't go. Don't create disturbance and disharmony within yourself and to other people. No need to go. Be peaceful in what your position is. Krishna is very kind. He takes care of all living beings. He takes care of us also. So in some festival, in some event, if you're not needed, don't go. Chant Krishna's names. Read Bhagavatam. Be satisfied. So, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that while contemplating the object of the senses, one develops attachment to that. So this is the first point he says. So attachment develops not even while engaging the senses with the sense objects. It is mentioned by Krishna that one develops attachment with the sense objects. By contemplation in the mind, in a subtle way, the attachment develops. Then the gross way, attachment develops. Just like when some of you who are grandparents, when you hear you have a grandchild now who's born, suddenly without even seeing the grandchild, you will develop attachment. Or even when you become parent, till the time the birth happens, you are not attached. The life of the child, you are not attached to the child. But the moment you hear, oh, I've got a child now, attachment develops, even without seeing the child. So this is the point. First, while contemplating the matters with which the senses are attached, in this contemplation stage, attachment develops. And from attachment, lust develops. And from lust, anger develops. From anger, bewilderment of the memory, to forget what you are, who you are. And from the bewilderment of the memory, one's intelligence is lost. Intelligence is a function where it determines and differentiates between good and bad, right and wrong, happiness and distress. It destroys. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down in the material whirlpool again. All our sadhana, all our austerities, all our devotion to Krishna is destroyed in this 1 second with this intelligence being lost. And these are the slow moving process of how intelligence is lost, but this happens in quick second. In few seconds it happens and you're finished. So, for many of us, as long as we are in the material world, it's not possible to check all these processes. So when we realize that our intelligence is lost with the anger, we pause and come back again. There's no harm in standing up again on the falling position and be steady in our sadhana. You see? So, if we do not spend that time within our own self to correct our own behavior, how can we see what other person is thinking and doing? This is what Lord Shiva could do because he is called Yogishwara. He is a master of the yogis. He could control his senses. And that is the reason why he could understand that Daksha's senses are not in control and he will do the wrong thing. And that will create disturbance to my wife. And that is a problem. He could forecast. You see, even in the material world, they say one of the biggest qualities a leader should have is forecasting. I had read and seen this question being asked to all the leaders industrial, gross materialists. They were asked the question, what are the qualities of a leader? And one of the Japanese CEO, I don't know if it was one of the car companies or something, Sony probably, he said, forecast, accurate forecasting. And I agree with this. A leader should accurately forecast, should have the ability of accurately forecast. That is the reason why in the debate of whether a leader is born or leader is created, I am of the opinion the leader is born. Because if the leader is not a leader by himself, doesn't have the quality of being a leader and is made a leader, there will be complete mess everywhere. Honesty, the first casualty of lack of good leadership is honesty. Moment within a followers of a leader, a team, group, organization, there's dishonesty prevailing, that means leadership is not right. Those who are leaders are not supposed to be leaders. They're supposed to be followers. Because a leader is a person who carries the burden and does the right things rather than doing things right later. So here, Mother Sati leaves Lord Shiva and walks away quickly to her father's ceremony. And as we will study and see how accurate was Lord Shiva, Mother Sati, she was also insulted, Lord Shiva was also insulted, ultimately she has to give up her body. Hare Krishna. This is what I understood from this particular verse. Anyone would like to say something, please? You are very qualified devotees. No? Would like to say anything? No? Thank you. Granth-raj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita ki jai. Shri Ananta Koti Vaishnavita ki jai. Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.